When should a small business hire a CPA? My recommendation is for a small business to hire a CPA in the very beginning. As soon as you start having tax questions or opportunities to make tax decisions, and that is before filing your first tax return. So I would say at least by November of the first year in which you are in business and generating significant profits. So over $10,000, for example. Here's why having a CPA at such an early stage is so important for you. First, they can help prepare your taxes, which will probably save the CPA fee itself in tax savings, because CPAs stay in touch with each year all the changes in the tax code. And in recent years, the United States have had many, because as COVID occurred, Congress started making many changes in the tax code to incentivize certain business behaviors. So I highly recommend using a CPA to prepare your tax return. They'll typically save their own fee in the tax savings that you have by doing your tax return properly. Second, a CPA can help you save significant money just by occasionally talking with them and about what are ways that in your type of business you can reduce your taxes. Third, if you make an error in your taxes and you relied on a CPA when making those decisions or filing a tax return, a legal defense to tax fraud is reliance on a CPA. So if you did it yourself, you have no CPA to blame. You can be liable for tax fraud. But if you accidentally engaged in tax fraud because you relied on a CPA and the CPA did something wrong, that is an important defense to tax fraud. I one time saw a case where a business owner relied on the advice of a CPA and attorney when buying art and making that art available and then characterizing that art as inventory, which is tax deductible for a business. Whereas if you buy art just for your home, it's not tax deductible. Now this art was in his home, but it was for sale, and he had followed the CPA's advice and the attorney's advice regarding making sure that that art is for sale, advertised for sale, and treated as inventory. Well, the IRS did an audit, and at that point, the business owner could either, and by the way, let's say that there was an error. Let's say for whatever reason, the art should not have been characterized as inventory and instead should have been characterized as just decor for a home. That business owner had an important legal defense. I relied on the advice of a CPA and attorney for characterizing the art as inventory. And that would be the difference between serving years in prison for tax fraud and not serving any time in prison because you didn't do anything wrong. Now, you might still have to pay the tax that you owe. There's probably going to be some interest and probably some sort of penalty, but the negligence penalty is much lower than the fraud penalty. And negligence in a penalty is very different from serving time in prison for tax fraud. So those are reasons why I strongly recommend bringing in a CPA in the first year that your business has significant profits. That's the time to get the CPA involved to set up your company right and to prepare for your very first tax return for the company. If you have questions that weren't answered today, I'd love for you to submit them. You can submit them by email or by adding a question in the comments section below. Have a great day.